Hi, today I will do the first video on studying law. So summary, I will talk about myself, then I'll define what is law, how the practice of law, and talk about the fees, how your classes are, how to study, how to do well in exams, and conclude. So I'm in my mid-30s. I graduated as an accountant, and after working as an accountant, I did law part-time, and I'm currently year 2 in BAC, Bakefields Asia College, and my purpose is to share knowledge, mostly to students who are thinking of studying law or are actually studying law. So, so how to define law? So actually, law most people think is rules, right? What you can do or cannot do, and there are other meanings like the law of nature, right? We talk about the law of physics, right? The law of the universe, other people also look at it like a religion, what your religion say. uh, like the Bible say cannot murder, cannot kill, cannot steal. So we have also a profession. We can say law is what lawyers do, practice. And lawyers are there to collect fees. They advise clients when they have legal issues, and then if they need to, they go to court, file a case in court, and then they argue a case in court. Yeah. So the history of law is actually it started from very long ago. You have history like Roman law, you got the Chinese law, right? So even the Bible also got law which is 4,000 years. So almost. So it's basically start with government. As long as you have a government, you have a leader. The leader cannot allow everybody to do what they like. Right? The leader will say, now you must pay me tax, right? You have to pay me every month. You have to pay me how much money. All these things you cannot do. You have to do all comes from the government. So and also it rely a lot on books because last time they got no book. They just cannot write also. It's very hard to write lah. So nobody knows what the law is also. So long ago, the law is very, very simple, but only started when they came up with the printing, the ability to print. That was about 1600s, after during the Renaissance. Then the law started to grow. Is law a science or art? So science is like black and white. I would think that science is basically black and white. So every time it's very easy to tell whether a person is right or wrong, right? Like if you kill somebody, then you are confirmed guilty, Whereas art will say not necessary. Maybe he has a reason that he used force. Maybe he was defending himself. Maybe he was trying to protect someone else or other property. So yeah, maybe it was an accident. So art is more like gray area. There are different colors. There are gray, there are blue, right? So most people will say in that sense, law is actually more like an art. Okay, then judges and politicians make the law. So judges are appointed by politicians. Okay, and but judges also interpret the law that when politicians come out as statute or act of parliament, judges will interpret what it means in the court, right? And whatever the top judges say, the lower judges have to follow. Right? So in practice, like fees in the big firms, the senior associate means a lawyer has been working for maybe 3 to 5 years lah, postgraduate, post qualification. So you have about 300 to 400 per hour. So a partner will be about what 600 to 1,000, right? If you go for of course you don't go for the top lawyers, that will be more than 1,000 lah. So it's very high for the big firms, but small firm they will charge you maybe a partner level will be about 200 or 300 an hour. Okay, this is to go to court, so it's not cheap. Whenever you want to sue somebody, let's say you got divorce, you got breach of contract, your employer terminate your employment, uh, all these things will cost you. So you want to go to court, you have the money. So justice is not so cheap anymore, and is very expensive in countries like UK. Okay, um, so the salary obviously depend on your fees. If you work for the big firm, you will be paid high lah. But how many people are employed by the big firm? See, there are maybe 1,000 lawyers employed by big firm, but there are in total 19,000, 20,000 registered lawyers. So only 5% at the most 10% work in big firms. Yeah. So the rest will be maybe they open your own firm, but you open your own firm, you remember you cannot advertise. So how do you find clients? You sit down in your office also, you can wait 1 month, maybe nobody come and visit you. So yeah, so it depends how just like somebody say, some people say the you can't really make a living on a proper living. So job scope, so you start off with doing legal research, right? When you are an intern or a chambering student, you do legal research. So you go on you find the law reports online, and then you search for a case that can be used as a precedent to support your own case, right? Because we need to use other what judges say, and then we use to support our argument. So they will do a lot of legal research. The only way they can support their seniors and the other lawyers. Of course, sometimes you follow the lawyers to court, but now and COVID-19, I'm not sure. Uh, and when you are slightly more senior, then you go to court, right? First you start off with the magistrates court, then you go to high court, and then court of appeal, and then if you're very senior, then you go to federal court. So there's basically the job nature lah. But this is for uh, barristers. You call them barristers in UK, but in Malaysia we don't separate. Malaysia is just normal lawyers. So most you have advisory also, right? You got a lot of types of lawyers. Some people work for companies, they call it corporate lawyers. Some people just do insurance. Some people just do conveyancing, right? Property. Some people specialize in employment. Right? Even you go to the bigger firms, they're all specialized. Some specialize in tax, some specialize in construction contracts. So depends on the kind of job nature lah. Okay, what type of lawyers? So normally they are solicitors and barristers. Solicitors will be the one minimizing your risk. They will give you advice. They tell you how to sign contracts. How do you come out from contracts? What you should do to avoid liability. Those are solicitors. So barristers will be the one going to court and fight the case. That is in UK, but in Malaysia is you do all lah. You can do both. What the law teaches you. So actually it teaches you how to the main thing when you are a law student, it teaches you how to form an argument. Every time you answer a question, the question will ask you how do you advise your client. Okay, when you advise your client, you want to talk about the law, the different possibilities. First, you have right. Because things can either go guilty or not guilty. You can either win or lose. So you have to advise both sides, right? Normally, we have to in the pot we have to look at from different angles. Maybe it's because of this, maybe it's because of that, and then it teaches you how to argue properly, how to form an opinion, and yeah, you cannot go and then you have no opinion. Okay, you cannot write a proper essay if you cannot conclude what is your conclusion. So you need to argue and characteristics. So some people they don't like to tell other people they are wrong, right? When you go to court, you have to break down the other party's argument, right? You have to cross-examine witnesses. You need to convince the judges and all why the other side is wrong and why you are right. So some people cannot do this, right? They prefer to agree. I agree with you. I know you are correct. Yeah. So independent minded, they call it. Right? And you need to be persuasive. Okay, you need to convince people, not just bullshit people, not just talk nonsense. Okay, you have to be 100% sure, because when you go to court, you have to be 100% convincing. If not, you will lose your case. Right? The other party is not going to allow you, and the judge is very strict one. Right? So you need persuasive, and you need like mutual respect. So like if people if you don't like the other party, let's say the other party also talk rubbish, and what do you do? Let's say the judge, you don't quite agree with the judge. How do you talk to the other party, right? Let's say your witnesses, your own client, the other party don't act properly lah. So you need some tolerance Okay, you cannot do things that what that you think that is right lah. You have to tolerate all these things. So motivation. So is it money? Are you looking just for money? Some people uh, they will do anything so whatever even their client is not right also, they will do it, they do anything to win the case for their client. Okay. Of course you got ethics, right? You say the ethics, legal ethics will say that you are not supposed to yeah, if you know something is wrong, then you cannot say it in court. Okay, you are supposed to stick to the truth because you are agents of the court, servants of the court. But in practice, you got all sorts of lawyers. So is it money or is it justice? Like you want to help the innocent or the right party win, or you want to help the poor person, right? Because justice sometimes, what is justice, right? Uh, yeah. So you basically you want to help the weaker but the what not the victim so called. Okay. That is normally like if you're a doctor you want to cure the sick. If you're an engineer you want to develop your capabilities or your product, your design and all. Uh, so yeah, so everybody have their own kind of motivation. Later I'll explain more. So judges in practice they are called lords and my lady, my lord in the court. You have to call them, and you have to have some language like may it please the Lord, may I present certain things. Uh, right, they are the boss in the courtroom. Okay. Uh, yeah. So if you have but not all judges are good. Everybody knows in Malaysia, right? Yeah, there are a lot of funny stories also. Like some judges are corrupt. There are lawyers. There are judges who there this judge who say that they were offered bribes and all these things are. Yeah, so you in Malaysia is not, so you have to take all this if your judge is like that, then you must, how do you win your case, if your judge is like that. So in the fees in UOL, we at University of London in Malaysia, so it's from UK certificate, it's only about 65, most maximum 70,000, right? And it's a UK cert, so you can do it in quite a few. So you got Bigfields ACL College, you got ATC, you got HELP, KDU, right? You have now MMU also doing. MMU you don't have to take CLP, right? MMU in Malacca. So otherwise you can also go to UK for 1 year or 2 years, right? And UK fees is the same as Malaysia. If Malaysia is 20,000 ringgit, UK also 20,000 a year, but the other one is pound, so you convert to 5 times, so it's 100K per year. Okay, just the fees. So, CLP another 15,000 or something. Yeah, you can choose to self study lah. You can work part time and do CLP, or some people if you cannot get a job, yeah, then you no choice, you have to do CLP full time. Institutions like I say lah, there are a few. You got the like the government uni, you got UKM, UM, Islamic University, all those. So you have books also. So you want to spend money on books. So every year you may have to spend about 3,000 on books. If you buy a lot, it will cost you 5 to even 10,000 a year on books. Right. Um, forgot is you have to know your Bahasa Malaysia, okay? Because in the lower courts you speak Bahasa Malaysia. Only in the higher courts like Court of Appeal and Federal Court is sometimes English or dual language. Um, Classes, normally one class is 2 3 hours. You got lectures, tutors, lectures. The lecturer will explain what the whole lecture is. Tutor is for you to do a problem question. They'll do a question. So the lecturer, normally a good lecturer will get contribution from everybody. So everybody just contribute the answers and discuss the answers. It's not just the lecturer give you the answer. So normally you can ask questions during lectures. You can ask on the spot, or you can wait until the end and then you can ask. Okay, but in UK, I think their style is wait until the end then only you ask. Okay, but in Malaysia, I think you can ask anytime you want now. Notes taking, you also want to take down notes, but you don't write down everything the lecturer say. You want to only take down the main point because everything can be found from the textbooks, right? You don't need all to write down everything. If not, you got no time to think. Good and bad lecturers, like I say lah, not all our lecturers are good. Okay, of course. but you can't do anything about it lah. So study groups, homework, tuition books. So you want to prepare before class. So you want to read the topic before you come to class. You also want to do your homework. You want to sometimes they give you the question before class. So I can do the question. Then you come to class. Then you talk about answer the question. So you can revise also after class, like maybe the next day or the same day, revise. So when you do these two, you can remember very well. Right? And you can also email your lecturer and ask them things. So you can form study groups with your friends. You can get outside tuition, right? They normally charge 50, 100 an hour. Some even charge 200 an hour, some 300 an hour also got. Okay, but you can find out there's a Facebook page. So I also can give tuition on first year subjects. Okay, how to get the right books. You want to go for the authoritative because um, every subject has like a few very authoritative established books, two or three very good books, right? Those are the normally the thickest books, and you can go from the normally the lecturer will tell you lah, but like my experience doing UL is not all they don't have all the best books yeah, some books are not in the recommended list, right? So you have to go and pandai find it. Sometimes the library have, sometimes you go for bookdepository.com, you can get some of the better books, but the more books you read, of course, then the more you know because every book has something other books don't have. So you also want to do past year questions. So this one you will spend quite a lot of time. Maybe 30% of your time studying or 50% will be should be doing past year questions. Right? When you study, when you go to class, you think you understand, but actually you don't understand. Once you come to do questions, right, you don't know how to do one. Okay? Yeah. So exams we is normally a closed book, but during COVID-19 they allow open online. So when it's online, you have like 5 hours. When it's or physical, then you only have 3 hours. So online you can refer your book, but even they give you 5 hours, you got no time to refer to your book one. Like I did my one online, I got 24 hours or so. It's like not enough. Like it's just nice like that lah. So so you need to know very well. The only way to know well is to practice past year questions. You got essay and problem questions. Right? Essay you have to talk about whether you agree with the law, whether the law is good or bad, what are the weaknesses of the law. Problem questions you solve a problem. Right? They give you a case and then you just solve the case out whether the party is guilty or whether the party is going to win or lose. How all this is a problem question. You need to memorize. So like contract law, you got 300 cases, 400 cases. So you need at least 100, 200 cases. You have to memorize. The name alone will give you a lot of problems. So normally the best way is to have an Excel list. You write down all the cases, what are the facts, what are the legal principles. Every day you memorize 3 cases. Right? After 1 month, you have already 100 over cases. So you want to yeah, how to score and do well is actually to do past year question. Okay. Conclusion: is law a good course to study? Actually, law is very beneficial. Why? Because everybody should know law. You see, can you be a citizen of a country when you don't know the country's law? You imagine that people become a citizen, but they don't know 90% or 95% don't actually know the law in the country except for lawyers. So they should be teaching law to everybody, but of course they are not. So when you study law, you are doing a very, very basic, very important thing, but it's not enough. You need to, yeah, you need real life experience also. You need other experience, not just law. Okay. Yeah, you can do double degree like what I did. Also no problem. You can go from science stream, but you must remember that law is not science. Okay. So science, right, is 100%. If you do your experiment, you do your testing, all your procedures is followed. You know that like let's say you build a building, you know the building will stand, right? It's not like 90% it will stand, 10%. Do you see any high-rise building collapse? No. It because why they have done their analysis, right? They use the computer software to do all the calculation for them. Whereas law, you never know. Sometimes you will win 50%, maybe another 40% you will lose. You never know whether 100% you will win or not, right? So it is very it's not so certain okay, whether you win. So is there is a do you is good lah. Okay, so it's a lot difficult. Of course it is lah. You need to talk. You need to talk a lot. You need to discuss a lot. You need to argue a lot. And like I give you an example lah. Like if we know that it is wrong to steal mah. There's a criminal offense called theft. But let's say a guy who goes to a casino, he gambles and then he wins 2 or 3 million pounds, and then he used a certain tactic that is that is not allowed lah. His tactic is not allowed. So is he a criminal? Is he going to be sent to jail? So there's a real case that he was Genting, versus Genting in UK versus this guy. So of course theft says that you have to be one element of theft is dishonesty, but is he dishonest? He believes he's honest he doesn't believe he's breaking the law, right? So is it what the person believe, or is it an objective test, like you say, uh, right, that a reasonable person would say it is dishonest, right? So sometimes it can be difficult to apply the case to the facts, right? So you have everybody is different, everybody is have different facts. Like some people it's good to be a lawyer, some people it's good to be an accountant or a doctor, or an engineer. So we cannot say everybody must be a lawyer. Okay, so it's like law lah. So depends on the circumstances, right? You need evidence, you need to prove your case in court. You need to collect the evidence and then all these thing is not necessarily easy. Okay, that's why lawyers can charge the top lawyers charge very high. Okay, if it's easy, everybody will be a top lawyer, right? And to get a job is not easy. Okay, in UK a lot of them they cannot find jobs also, right? In Malaysia they say if you cannot get second class uppers you cannot get into a good firm anymore, right? And is it rewarding? So like I say lah, if you want to be a top lawyer or just a normal lawyer, then you don't expect much money lah. Okay, and lawyers you must remember, some they complain that they work very long hours, but of course you talk about auditors, then auditors is worse. Some they say lawyers prey on their victims, so their victims got problem then they can't find them, instead of helping their client they take all the client's money. Right, become, they cause their client more problem. Some of them they say other lawyers giving them problem, they are not cooperative, right, you call them and then they don't reply your email, so you have to deal with other lawyers, so the other side is not cooperative sometimes. Some depend on the judge, so if the judge is no good then you have problem. And some your law also, so Malaysia we got some very come out from parliament are not necessarily good. So if you got bad laws, then you have to work around the law. You have to find a way to sing, because this is not UK, this is Malaysia, right? If you are in US or something, you got other laws also. So it depends on the law also, whether you love the law, right? Do you think that the law is more good than bad, or some people they just think that the law is bad, so is it rewarding? Yeah, depends. Is it monetary you are looking for, or is it helping others, or is it just helping yourself? So if you want to help yourself, you need to find a way to earn a living. Okay, thanks. Okay, bye.